Hi there. Now, this news is really making rounds, and it is a big news that China is saying, and they are saying it now officially. What we used to, people like me used to say since quite a while, that China's population is rapidly decreasing, and I am saying since past some time that. China is having the worst demographic problem in the world, in the entire globe. They are having the worst demographic problem, and now the Chinese authorities they themselves have quoted that first time after 1960. Why after 1960? Because after that shock to China, which Mao Zedong gave via his infamous cultural revolution, first time the number of babies produced in China are is lower than the number of deaths they saw. And this is not due to COVID, mind it. This is not due to COVID. This is due to the demographic problem they have created for themselves. And how they have created? There are a couple of factors for that. Number one, China has artificially industrialized itself in a time which in no time you can say it took less than one third time to China to industrialize its country as compared to West or especially to the United Kingdom. So what happened? They imported a lot of a bulk of their rural population in their cities to work in their industries as cheap labor. And what resulted? It resulted in rapid decrease in population. How? Because what happens when a person or a big population, not a person, if a huge population migrates or is forced to migrate from the rural sector to the urbanized sector and work in industries because of lifestyle, others and other reasons, the number of babies they produce rapidly decreases. So that has already happened in China. Couple it with the one child policy of Chinese Communist Party. They impose this imposter kind of policy on the Chinese society in 1980, and now they are seeing the results of it. And plus, they now, since some time, they have started uh, accepting that they have counted their population wrong. They have counted at least 100 million less number of people. So combine all these things, rapid industrialization and deruralization, by force deruralization and urbanization of their cities, urbanization of their population, plus that infamous one child policy, plus 100 million of your population you are counting wrongly. So what it leads to? A massive decrease in population, which maybe you were also not knowing that this is happening under your feet, under the ground. And that has now caused havoc in China, because what it will lead to, say, in coming decade, now China will be having more number of mouths to feed than the hands they earn. Now they will require more people, more younger population to care for the elderlies, which they are not having. Less number of people in their armed forces, less number of cheaper labor, and less number of cheaper labor means it is an economic disaster for a country which has made its economy on cheap exports. You can't compare Chinese exports with American export or American industry, because American industry and American exports are high grade exports. And what is Chinese exports? They are cheap middle grade exports. So now when you are not having that working age population who can work uh, with lower wages in your factories, your economy will crumble. Now combine it with derularization. Derularization means less number of people to work in farms and produce food, and also combine it with the kind of soil you are having. China is having one of the worst, I'm not saying the worst, but one of the worst kind of soil in the entire world. It is a fertilizer hungry country and fertilizer hungry soil to feed its mouth. So China is almost a net importer of energy. China is almost a net importer of food, and combine it with the rapidly old aging population, it creates disaster, it creates economic disaster, which we are seeing that China's rate of growth is lower than, I will say, 3%. I think it is something between 1 or 2%. They may quote it 3% or 3.5%, but who believes Chinese data? And they fudge their data. So the less the GDP numbers are decreasing, the economy will be shrinking. You are having food scarcity. On top of that, you will be having then political issues. Already you are at war with the entire world. So club all these factors, one thing will come out: disaster, disaster, and disaster. There are some questions, I think. Sir, can China implement three-child policy like they implemented one-child policy? See, Prince, you are asking, can China implement three-child policy like they implemented one-child policy? No, it's not easy. By law or by force, you can pressurize a society to produce less number of children. But once that society gets adapted to the low number of children, to the less number of children, less number of babies, you can't force them to produce more. You can give incentive, but if people are willing to accept that incentive, then only you will have more children. And since 2016 they are trying to give incentive, but that's not working. By law, by force, you can force your society to produce less children, but you can't force the society to produce more children. No, it's not possible. Anything else? If any other question, you write in the description, in the question box, and I will try to answer. Thank you.